Well, Brad, how's the confidence, I guess, this week? I mean, it should be riding high after a nice win last weekend, but we look back to last year and that would suggest it would hurt the confidence. So where's it at?
It depends how far you look back to last year. Round 4 was a good day for us up in Sydney. The prelim obviously was disappointing for us, but we learned some things out of that game. We learned some things out of the round 11 game earlier this year, and the lineups are a little bit different as well. So there's a little bit of the unknown, but I mean, all we can do is prepare as best we can, and we've got faith in our ability.
Why are you better this year? The rest of the players at the media session in the week were all saying how much better you are this year. You can obviously say there's been some key additions to the squad, but overall, why are you better?
We're definitely better. We're physically prepared more than we were, or better than we were this time last year. A lot of our players have now had good finals experience. They've had experience winning finals, and so all that goes to your preparation. And I think we've had some performances we weren't happy with this year, but we've had some really good performances as well. And our preparation's always been geared around being at our best at this time of year, and we feel we're very close to it.
You've had some doubters on you for a lot of the season. Do you take some, enjoyment out of proving people wrong, and do you still think you've got a point to prove in some regard?
No, I don't. I mean, we go about our business without fear or favour. We don't fear criticism because of the decisions we made or we make, and we certainly don't expect anyone to pat us on our back when things go our way. And the last thing we're going to do is be vindictive and start telling people I told you so. I'm not concerned about that, and we've just got to do our best. I mean, there's always something on the line. In a final, the stakes rise even further. So you make the decisions with the information you've got at the time, and you do it to the best of your ability. The fallout from that will be the fallout. That's one thing we can't have control over.
Brad, no Franklin, no Reid. How does that change your mind at selection table, or just your headspace generally heading into the game?
Anytime Lance is not playing, whether it was with Hawthorn or with Sydney, you're not overly disappointed. I mean, he's such a great player and takes up a lot of your time in planning. But the strength of the Sydney Swans over a generation has been their ability to compete really hard regardless of the 22 that represent them each week. And they'll present a significant challenge for us this week, as they always do, whether their personnel is a little bit different or not.
And guys like Smith and Jack, if he does play, do you see them as a potential, not a weakness, but an area that you could work them over if they're a bit underdone?
I think they're 2 All-Australians, so we won't be thinking of them as a weakness. If they're the Swans, I doubt we'll pick them unless they're right. So if they're picked to play and they play, then we'll expect them to be at their best, and we'll certainly be planning for their best.
Do you back Tarrant to get the job again on Tippett? He did a pretty good job on him earlier in the year.
I think we've got great flexibility now in our defence. I mean, we've added Tarrant to our defensive half, and he's given us great flexibility in terms of the ability for our defenders to size and shape. So I doubt it'll be just one player all night. It'll be a variety of defenders, and we've got that flexibility.
Have you spoken to Lindsay Thomas just about that incident, about possible discipline, that sort of thing?
Yeah, look, it was a bit of an instinctive reaction that was clearly without thought, and we need Lindsay to think about his actions. And he responded really well at 3/4 time. And I think his performance in the last quarter, both defensively and kicking the goal that he did, was really important for us. So that's what I'm more concerned about. I'm concerned about how players respond rather than focusing too much on the past.
Does he jeopardise his place in the team by actions like that?
Oh, look, if it was a regular occurrence, yeah, he would. But it's not a regular occurrence. It was a bit of an instinctive move, not the wisest move. But for the rest of the game, he was really good when he came on as a sub.
Have you picked your 22? Is this session going to change your thoughts at all? Or?
Oh, look, it might. I mean, we've picked our 25, and we'll finalise that. Probably tomorrow, but we'll certainly take at least 25 players to Sydney and maintain an element of flexibility with our lineup.
Is Kane Turner in that 25 after that collision? Yeah,
Kane will be in our 25. Really keen for him to play last week. The medical staff cleared him, but we're just really concerned that it was such a significant hit that he would need the extra week, and hopefully the boys could get the job done, and he'd be right to come in the next week. So he'll be in our 25, and we'll finalise that 22 later in the week.
How hard is it to make those sorts of calls when you're talking about a guy's health, but you're also talking about finals?
Easy. The health and welfare of our players will always come first. The doctors have a decision to make, and the first step is for them to clear them or not. and if they are cleared, it then becomes a match committee decision. So there are multiple layers on that health and welfare of players, and we just felt that it was too much of a risk, whereas this week there's a significantly reduced risk.
What about Daniel Wells? Any chance?
Now, Wellesley won't play this week. We'll see how he trains today, and our aim is to still have him available in the event that we keep winning. So we certainly haven't given up on him playing for the rest of the year, but he just hasn't quite done enough this week to play.
The forecast is looking pretty wet up there too, and you have played quite tall up forward. Does that play a factor in how you set up down there?
Look, it may. I mean, the opposition play have played quite tall in the past as well. With probably a few guys they'd like to have available out, they might go a bit smaller. So it'll be a combination of weather and what the opposition do.
Do you line Ben Jacobs up for another job this week?
Oh, look, he'll play through the midfield, and Sydney have got a variety of players going through there that are winning heaps of the ball. I think young Tom Mitchell's underrated because of the experienced, proven performers that are around him. But there are a lot of guys that we could send him to, and we're not convinced that we've made that or finalised that decision yet. Some of our coaches are, but there's still a bit of debate to be had.
It's been almost an immutable rule of football that in the second week of the finals, the top 4 team had beaten the bottom 4 team for much of the last decade, until last year. Does that win against Geelong last year give you extra confidence?
It gives us more confidence, and we're able to win consecutive finals. And I think that until you've been there and done it, it's difficult to build self-belief. So self-belief comes from action, and the fact that we did it last year has to help build that. But once the ball bounces on Saturday night, it'll just be another game for us, albeit one with much higher stakes.
Given that you made the prelim last year, is it a failure this year if you don't get that far, or is that far too simplistic?
No, I mean, every year's different. If we were still in the VFL competition, back in the 70s, 80s, we would have played off in consecutive grand finals this year. So the competition's completely different, and it continues to evolve, and it'll evolve again next year. So comparisons year on year become really difficult, and ultimately, I mean, I don't sit there and write an article on whether we've succeeded or failed. I'll leave that to you guys.
Just interested to get your thoughts on playing at ANZ Stadium and I guess what it poses for you, particularly when Sydney has such a great record there in finals.
Yeah, look, I mean, we're not concerned about the venue. We'll play wherever the AFL fixture is. We knew that when we qualify for the finals outside of the top 4, and a lot of interstate sides were in the top 4, we were probably going to have to travel at some point if we were able to keep winning. So, whether it's the SCG, ANZ, doesn't concern us.
Beautiful. Brad.